We need to not only be aware, but we need to give a fuck. We need to see that it's real. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of shit that go on with us don't be justified. And, it's been that way throughout history, but we need to get on like a collective accord to kind of figure this shit out, right? So let's get into it, family. First story. This is out of Minnesota. So what happened? A 24-year-old white man named Anthony Trifiletti, he shot a 39-year-old black man named Douglas Lewis. Now, what happened is they were in a little fender bender. I think Mr. Lewis may have hit him on his bumper, right? After rear-ending him, both men got out of their vehicles. Mr. Douglas C. Lewis was 39 years old. Anthony J. Trifiletti, the white gentleman, was 24 years old, just to give you guys some context. So they get out of the vehicle, they're having a conversation. Apparently they're arguing or what have you. They decide not to get insurance information. It seems like everything's cool, right? So they eventually drive off. And as Mr. Trifiletti states it, Mr. Douglas Lewis followed him. He left the scene, made a couple rights, couple lefts. The black gentleman followed him. After a few minutes, he noticed he was following him. He got out to see what he was following him for. Apparently, and this is what the white gentleman is saying because he had a friend in the car with him that are kind of corroborating this same story. Apparently, the black gentleman got out of the car, letting them know that he was from GD or something like that, basically making it seem like he got out of the car and began to spew gang-related information at them, which, as they put it, scared them, right? So apparently, and I don't really believe this shit, the black gentleman got out of the car, got to telling him about what gang he's from and shouting at him, different shit like that. Ultimately, Mr. Trifiletti was scared. How he puts it, he was afraid for his life. So what he does, he pulled out his gun and shot him 3 or 4 times and kills the brother, right? So as I was saying, they've already set this up to make it seem like the brother was in a gang, right? So he's a black thug in a gang. They were scared for their life, so he felt like he had to shoot him. You feel me? And this is a 24-year-old white man. Keep it in mind, when the brother got out of the car the second time and walked over to Mr. Trifiletti's car, Mr. Trifiletti didn't get out. So he's just in the car, sees him coming, pulls out his gun and shoots him, right? And they're already setting it up to make this dude get off, right? So I talk about this story, family, because again, as we can see, the United States of America has a way of allowing white citizens to become like deputies themselves, right? To become like the judge and jury themselves, right? Because I don't think this young man, Mr. Anthony J. Trifiletti, I don't think he's going to get a lot of time. I don't see anything the brother could have done differently in this situation. If you got into an incident with somebody and you want to verbally talk to them about what's going on, I don't think he said the gang shit. I don't think he mentioned, I think they were just throwing some random gangs out there to kind of cover their ass. I don't think he mentioned anything about no fucking GDE or nothing like that. I think the brother was coming at the car. He probably wanted to say more shit. White Americans in this country, in my opinion, especially in certain states, feel the need to always pack a gun, feel the need to be armed at all times, you feel me? Feel the need to damn near be training like they gonna be in some kind of war, when in actuality, family, it's just based on some race shit. It's just for us. You don't need all them goddamn guns to be hunting like that. You feel me? You don't need that. They use a firearm like Frances Cress Wilson said in her book, they use their firearm as like they dick almost. You feel me? That's the energy that they need to feel like they a man to a degree, because when it comes to fucking with us, ain't much they can do to us. You feel me? So these white supremacists be strapped. And I call them a white supremacist because if you a white man or a white lady who are doing something to somebody black based on their race, if their race is the reason why you're mistreating them, then you are a white supremacist and you have a system that actually backs you. You feel me? So looking at this young man, even looking at his goddamn picture, that's my feeling, family, that this is some racist shit. And again, the tone of the whole show today, family, the tone of the other news stories that I have, the tone of the actual topic that we gonna get into, the tone of all this is unity. The tone of all this is, after seeing what happens to us year after year after year in this country as black folks, what the fuck is we gonna do, right? So that's the tone of the show, family, and keep that in mind. So Mr. Trifiletti is basically saying that he was, the black gentleman was yelling out GD. He was scared for his life. He's already setting up the premise for him to get off or to get a manslaughter charge or some bogus shit where he's not really going to do a whole bunch of time. You feel me? So in situations like this, there's not really much that we can do, unless, you know, we get to a position where we have black attorneys and we have, you know, a piece of the legal system on our side. Because I always feel like once we get to a courtroom, the odds are stacked against us, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do in a situation like this where you just want to have a conversation with a dude that just hit you, right? Or a conversation with a dude that you just had a fender bender with? There's no reason at all for this young man to shoot him, but I think not only are some white citizens deputized, but some of them understand how white supremacy works. Some of them understand how the system that we live in works. Meaning, if I shoot somebody black, all I gotta do is say he was trying to do something to me, and I'm probably not gonna go to jail. You see what I'm saying? Or I'm probably not gonna get a whole bunch of time. You feel me? You let a black man shoot another black man in a situation just like this, one of them getting life. Both of them probably end up going to jail. You feel me? So rest in peace to the brother Douglas C. Lewis. I just wanted to bring attention when a black man is slain or assassinated in this country. I know it happens a lot. I know some people feel as if we need to quit talking about it or highlighting it. Well, fuck that. Until all of us get on the same page collectively. Now, I don't mean gathering like my boy Tariq Nasheed say. I don't mean us gathering in a building together or us unifying as far as meeting somewhere at 3 o'clock. What we gonna do? No, fuck that. I'm talking about a collective mind state. I'm talking about a code of conduct. I'm talking about just viewing your brother and sister with love and operating with a certain code of conduct no matter where you are in the United States of America. You feel me? So shit like this should enrage you and let you know that it's important that you make sure your children are aware of how racism works. Make sure the people around you are aware of how these incidents transpire, so we can try to make sure shit like this don't happen to us as well, right, family? So he shot him 3 or 4 times and killed a brother. He was charged, Anthony J. Trifiletti was charged with 2nd-degree murder. And again, like I said, he made sure he mentioned he was afraid for his life. So I think that incident, mentioning that in particular is, that's going to go a long way with him possibly getting off. Hopefully he doesn't. But again, I want to say rest in peace to the brother Douglas C. Lewis.